friends, welcome to Sky House Herbs podcast. I'm Ashley Elenbaas, a clinical herbalist, and in this space I share my knowledge and experience with plant medicine to help you on your own journey of healing and transformation. Join me in exploring the ancient wisdom of plant spirit medicine and how it can be used to heal the body, mind, and spirit. We'll talk to experts in the field and share stories from people who've been transformed by powerful plant allies. New episodes are released each Monday, so please subscribe. And now, let's explore this mystical world of plant medicine together.
Hey everyone, welcome in. Today we are going to be going outside into my garden and into my yard to look at some herbs. I know a lot of you are wondering, what are these weeds that are growing in my garden? Are they possibly medicines? And they might be. I'm going to share with you 3 top herbs that might be growing around you. 2 of them are very common throughout most of the growing area that is probably listening. And then one of them is maybe not quite as common. We'll take a look at these herbs, learn about how you can grow them, and key features for identifying them. Before you join me outside, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please take a moment to click the subscribe button. Also click notifications so that you will know when new videos drop. And if you haven't yet checked out my website, skyhouseherbs.com, I'll include a link down below and you can learn all about my upcoming live events here in Minnesota, where you can join me in the garden for live classes and also stay up to date with my latest courses, including my herbal apprenticeship classes and my year 2 herbal apprenticeship study program. Today's episode is part of a new series that I am putting together, or a new playlist called From Soil to Spirit. And in this series, I am exploring themes like spiritual gardening and ways to connect with plants and the natural world in a deep and lasting way. I hope that you come back and take a look at Soil to Spirit and see if there's any other topics that interest you, because for me, being outside in nature, being with the plants is part of my spiritual practice. All right, let's head out to the garden. Here we are in the garden, and the first herb I want to share with you is bee balm, Monarda fistulosa. I would say if you could grow any herb in your garden this year, this is the one that you want. Monarda fistulosa is a plant in the mint family. It has a square stem and it has opposite leaves. You can see the leaves growing up right across the stem from each other, and you can see that nice delineation of a square stem. These plants have not bloomed yet. They will start to blossom probably in the next maybe 2 to 3 weeks. And these are beautiful plants for landscaping. They're native medicinal plants for this region. They're wonderful for pollinators, and everyone can grow this herb. Other ways to use this herb as a medicine is to make a tea with its leaves. And I actually think about this herb as a wild native oregano. So anything that you would use oregano for medicinally or in cooking, you can use bee balm or Monarda fistulosa. To gather the medicine, you're going to use the aerial part. I typically like to wait until the plant has flowered and it has these light lavender purple color, and they look like fireworks exploding out. So when the plant flowers, then you can harvest the aerial parts. And I'll usually go down maybe to about the 2nd or 3rd leaf set and clip right above it. And it will continue to grow and proliferate and make more flowers throughout the growing year. Once I harvest the aerial parts, I usually like to dry them, use them in a tea for coughs and colds and for congestion. It's really aromatic, has a lot of those volatile oils which help to break down and thin mucus. They can also help with fevers by opening up the pores and stimulating sweating. It is a warming plant, so that's a really good thing to know, because digestively, it's really good at warming up the digestive system and the circulatory system. Another thing that I use this herb for is for nerve damage and nerve pain. And I know we can't see the flowers right now, but when you look at the flowers, they look like little nerve axion. And I have seen this herb be really actually quite profoundly medicinal for people who've had nerve damage.
So if you're someone who's had surgery and have severed a nerve, have had any sort of neuropathy, I would consider using this herb as a medicine. Personally, I would take a tincture, maybe starting with 5 drops on the tongue 3 times a day. You could also just brew a tea if you don't mind a strong, very minty, oregano-like flavor. It's an aromatic herb. This herb is really good in cooking. Use this as a wild oregano in cooking any sort of meat dish, poultry, when cooking fish, salad dressing. You can use bee balm and dry the leaves, crush them up, and use them as you would use oregano as seasoning. I'm going to take you into my herb garden now to show you a different variety of bee balm. This one is Monarda didyma, which has a bright red flower. And you can see there's a few differences. It still has the square stem, but notice that it has a little bit of purplish red on the stem, and notice how it's fuzzier. The fuzziness is one of the ways you can tell that this is a different species of Monarda. I find both of them to be used pretty interchangeably. However, I do think that didyma is a little bit milder in its oreganol content, so it can be a little bit of a gentler herb to use as a tea. Let's take a moment to pan out so you can see. I started off last year, actually maybe 2 years ago, with about 3 or 4 Monarda plants. Look at how profuse this herb has now spread. So this is pretty much all our Monarda didyma. I have welcomed it. Here, I'll show you a few other things while we're here. This is a incoming valerian plant, but you can see how the Monarda is just sort of coming around it. So I might take these out because it spreads. Maybe I'll just show you. Look at those roots. They're not joking around. And so these will just spread throughout the whole garden. And it's okay, guys. It's okay, everyone, to take out things where you don't want them. That's been a really hard struggle for me because I don't like taking plants out. I'm like, oh, but you're a medicine. However, when they start growing in places where I don't want them, I just tell them, I say, not here, buddy. I'll help you to grow where I want you, but I'm not going to help you grow where you're not wanted. The next plant I wanted to show you is actually, it's hard to tell because it's getting wrapped up with another plant. Let me pull it out for you so you can see it on its own. This herb right here, some of you might know it, this is Motherwort, Leonurus cardiaca, and this is another mint family plant. It is very bitter, and it is a wonderful cardiac tonic for the heart and nervine. It's a nervine relaxant, so it's really good if you get tense, if you get tightness, especially around your chest, and when you get tense and tight, your heart gets really it just gets a little bit squeezed. This right here is an elder that is taking over. I've got an abundance of elder, and I welcome elder in the garden, so I'm gonna just let them grow together because they look like they're getting along, right? They're just look like they're being buddies. This herb is, often people think of it as a weed because it grows right along the hedges and edges of woods and trails. It has this very pronounced chicken foot. When I teach kids about this herb, I'm like, look for it. It looks like 3 points, and it looks kind of like a chicken's foot. So you can think of it as chicken foot. The flowers have not come in yet. I'll go in a little closer for you. It will have these purple flowers that will come in up the center stem, and they'll be kind of prickly. The outside of the flowers have this prickly base. These are also super bitter. If you take a little leaf off and chew it, you'll get this big bitter hit, and I think we should be doing that. If you can positively 100% identify these very bitter herbs, you should just take them in your mouth and chew them because it's really good for our bodies to get these hits of these chemical messengers that trigger a whole bunch of neurological and chemical responses, especially around gut health. But let me show you what it looks like when it's just growing along the wild edge. Let's take a little walk past our Monarda, see if you can pick out which one is the Monarda. We're going to go down along this fence edge, and we're going to pass some burdock. Hello, burdock. We're going to pass some nettles here. So this is Urtica dioica with its spiky, long, arrow-pointed leaves, and look who's growing next to it. Here is a very wild, very happy motherwort. And so again, you can start to see the flowers are going to come in soon, but it's quite tall from bottom to top. And this herb, I really like to use it as a nervine. I keep it in a little bottle along with about 5 other herbs for my children, because sometimes when they're going to bed, if they can describe a very particular type of tension or worry, if it's related to the mother, because this is motherwort, or if it's related to the heart and heart worry or heartache or tightness in their chest, then I'll usually give them a tincture. I'll give them maybe 2 or 3 drops of this directly into their mouth, and it really does seem to help them relax and settle in and feel mothered. You know, I mean, I'm their mother, but you know, sometimes we need even just a little bit of an extra mother boost. The last plant I wanted to show you is this one. This is literally a dirt patch along the side of the house, and this plant arrived, so I did not plant her. This is Artemisia absinthium, or wormwood. And isn't it a beautiful plant? It has these silvery leaves. The name Artemisia comes from its relevance and its connection to Artemis, the goddess of the moon and the hunt and the night watch. This herb will pop up in ditches. It will grow pretty much anywhere. I want to bring you to its flowers, and they are really pretty. This plant is in the aster family. And let me just bring you in. Do you see these beautiful, it has these little white flowers, and look at the underside of the leaves. See how they're even a little bit more silvery? But this plant definitely looks very different from the ones nearby. Do you see the difference in the quality of green between these plants and then coming back to this one? So it's a very silvery green color, and you can use the leaves, the stems, the flowers for medicine. It is very, very bitter, and so it was used in beer making and drink making. It was one of the ingredients in absinthe. To make a medicine out of this, just take all of the aerial parts. I just like to chop up the herb, put it in a jar, pack it with as much herb as I can, and then I would use something like vodka with this because it's got a very bright, clean flavor to it. And then after it steeps for about a month, you can press it and then use that tincture in drop doses. This is also an emmenagogue, so you don't want to use it in pregnancy, but if you're trying to bring on your menses, if you've had a sluggish period, it can be very helpful for that. Here's another plant growing right next to it. And this herb definitely can be used as one to really help increase blood flow to the digestive tract, and then also to the female reproductive and even the male reproductive organs. If you're trying to bring on blood flow, then this is a really good herb. I would not recommend this one as a tea only because of its bitter taste, but one thing that I like to do with really bitter herbs like this is just pick off a little piece and then nibble it. This is my second one of the day, and it is powerful. Like, it is a powerful medicine. Like, I can feel my digestive juices flowing and everything getting ready to take in food. And walking back through this sort of unkempt part of the yard, here's another motherwort that's growing. And here's a really fun plant. My children love this. This is Jack in the Pulpit. I don't use it medicinally, but I just love this. Isn't this cool? Peekaboo. It's like a little preacher in the preaching pulpit, and he just sort of hides in there. Thanks for joining me outside in the garden today. It was really fun to bring you around and to share some different herbs with you, and hopefully you can get outside and just look around and see what's growing around you. Sometimes the medicines you need are the medicines that are growing in your own backyard. Look out for that. Sometimes our plant allies show up right when we need them. Also, if you have any other questions or any other topics related to spiritual gardening, herbs, medicine, please leave those in the comment section. I love to hear from you, and I would love to take you out around and show you more about the power and the medicine and the magic of the plants that live around us. Thank you, everyone, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.